Hello everyone, Sat Sri Akal and welcome to the Sim and Sing show. Before I start, happy Diwali and Bandi Chor Divas.
Yeah, happy, all of those things. Yeah.
Today, since it's a special occasion, we're starting our new series. It's called the Underdogs. Basically, we have special guests come on our show. We're gonna work out with them, ask them some questions, and talk about their lifestyle. I'm gonna get Sim to introduce our first guest.
So yeah, no names, we'll introduce that after, but he's my neighbor. Sorry, dropped out of high school at 14, lost over 100 pounds, wrote a book, it's called Grow, and yeah, the biggest thing I think, sold his business for $419 million.
Check this out.
In a deal worth $419 million, Mike Fata.
Mike Fata.
One of the hardest things in the early days pioneering hemp was dealing with the stigma. People thought hemp was a drug, marijuana.
Federal law makes no distinctions between cannabis and industrial hemp.
They literally used to walk by our trade show booth and laugh, saying things like,
"Hemp? No thanks. That's not for me."
People not believing in hemp had an impact on me personally. It brought back the trauma of being an overweight high school dropout teenager, who people laughed at because they didn't believe in my potential. I ultimately used that as motivation to stand up for hemp. And much like I turned my life around and people started believing in me, I thought more and more people would start believing in hemp.
So Mike, I haven't even asked you this question, but we talked about it a little bit, but so at 14, like what happens? Like you're overweight, and then you're in school, and so what happened? How did that all?
If you remember. Yeah, for sure. Remember, I went to high school, and first day of grade 10, and I told my geography teacher to fuck off, and then he sent me to the office, and then the principal, who was the new principal there, says, "You're out." This is Scottish, Irish guy. He's like, kicked me out of school, and I was like, "No, you can't kick me out of school," and so it was the first fucking day of school, and then my mom kind of begged him, so I got suspended for 2 weeks instead, and which was kind of funny. This guy was an alcoholic. They fired him like a year later. They had a bottle of whiskey in his desk or whatever. So he was a great guy. But he kicked me out, and then or suspended me for 2 weeks after that. I just lost interest. So it was like, high school was more of a social club. I was overweight. Wasn't fitting in, and I really just said, screw it. I wanted to didn't want to go. Wanted to start working.
I watched some of your I watched pretty much every YouTube video I could find on you.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you talk a lot about how you grew up with a single mom and that life's right. So that kind of drove you from where you were to how you got to your business lifestyle.
Yeah, I was always hungry, and I would say like more of the survival instinct, And I just recall like vividly, Mom was very open about finances and all of that. So we didn't have a lot of money. And I remember there was a good couple of years, like pay all the bills, pay the minimum Visa payments, and then have $20 for groceries. Like that's real,
Yeah, it's real.
And so then when I was old enough to go, I want to make money, and I can do that. And yeah, but that I think that survival instinct I've learned in entrepreneurship is one of the deciding factors how successful someone's going to be. Like the opposite of that is the golden spoon. And then people just don't really understand like how they make a buck. Like how do you really make a dollar?
Right.
Served me pretty well.
So then you got into school.
Yeah, I was done school. I did try one other time, and I went back for like a month when I was 16 or 17, but it didn't work out. And so I was just working. I started working first as a carpenter's apprentice, working construction, for a total dickhead. This is what I've learned. Like Yeah, you know, that was my first take. Like, this guy was not a nice guy. He was an alcoholic too, which a lot of people in construction, I don't know, unfortunately are. But yeah, doing like cleaning up sewer basements and burned out buildings and different work like that, and worked a little bit of retail. So my mom worked for Shoppers Drug Mart, so I did get a job being like a stock boy and stuff for a bit. Then when I was like 18, started working asphalt, concrete asphalt, which my brother was working there too. And we helped the guy double his business basically, running a couple new crews. That's where I really learned like that. By that time, like when I was 19, 19, I was a foreman and I had a 5 or 6 person crew working for me. And all those guys were like 30s, 40s or whatever, you know? So learned a lot about like how to get a job done, customer service, kind of the full life cycle of it. And then, but also that guy wasn't the nicest guy and didn't treat his employees the best. And so then that was right at the time of like starting to, you know, get in shape. I was changing. The construction was good for when I decided to lose weight because I was working really hard, like shoveling asphalt, shoveling concrete and stuff. But then I got super interested in health and saw the hemp opportunity. So when we started the business, I couldn't work that job anymore, but I got a job at the Winnipeg Free Press, working overnight at the newspaper factory. I used to work like 9 to 5 on the business basically, and then go home, sleep for a couple hours, and then start the shift at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in newspaper.
Shit.
Yeah.
But what got you onto hemp though? Do 15. Stop cutting the reps, you guys.
Well, I don't know. It's really everything. The
15? 15 reps. Make it tight. Yeah. We're talking, but don't forget, like,
you're watching.
At your peak, you were at like 300 pounds.
More, 320, 320, yeah.
Holy crap. And so that's when your fitness journey began?
Yeah, one day I was like sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to not feel shitty. And my brother was already working out. He was a little chubby when he was younger, but he was already working out, and he's like, "I'll take you to the gym."
Yeah.
I always say it was like the episode of The Biggest Loser. If you've seen that TV show, like I remember like going to bench press, and the bar is like a 45-pound bar, just the bar, you know. And I'm pushing it. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm screaming, I'm crying, like tears running down my face, and he's like, you can do it, you know. I'm like, that was the start, you know, and changing my diet up. And how I got into hemp was that I went on a no-fat diet, which was really popular in the mid-1990s, and cut all the fat out of my diet, thinking, okay, I'm doing good. Cut the fat out and basically eat all these no-fat foods. And I lost weight, but I learned the hard way about how essential fatty acids are, like omega-3 and stuff. And I read a book, Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill, Dr. Udo Erasmus. And so I went from like maybe 2 years of fat's bad, everyone should not eat fat, to like, oh my God, I was wrong, you need fat. And Udo in his book just talked about how hemp was the best source of essential fats, but you couldn't get it in Canada, it was only available in Europe. Mm-hmm. And then I met the other 2 co-founders of the business that were essentially hemp activists. They were lobbying the government to legalize hemp, and they're kind of in the final stages of that, and I don't think they really knew like what's next, you know, what are we gonna do next kind of thing. And so I'm like, hey, this is gonna change the world. We're gonna, you know, people are gonna realize, like I realized, you can't live a no-fat diet. And
so you reached out to them, sorry? Like you?
I was friends of friends, like both Martin and Alex were
Smith Machine.
Like 10 years older than me, so
okay, yeah.
We were like mutual friends, and started the business out, and it took a long time to get the business off the ground. I say to people, like it took 5 years to reach our first $1 million in revenue. The first year in business, we did $50,000 in sales. You know?
What year is this?
1998.
98.
Yeah.
Okay. That's when you founded the business.
Yeah.
Like that's what you did here.
Yeah. We started in 1998.
And that was Manitoba Harvest.
You guys had the name right off the bat, Manitoba Harvest?
Well, yeah, we started, I didn't know a lot about trademarks and stuff, but we started the business as Manitoba Harvest, partly because, you know, it was, you know, how we created the brand. I went to the health food store and they had a flaxseed oil there, and and then I saw like Prairie Harvest and then the flax company, I can't remember what it was. So I was just getting ideas, and I was like, oh, I like Harvest. And Manitoba were like, well, the hemp's grown here. Just, you know, it's like a community piece, so it makes sense. But then we actually got sued by Winnipeg Harvest, because they used to use Manitoba Harvest outside of the city. They had Winnipeg Harvest inside of the city, and then they had Manitoba Harvest, and we went to collect food from all the small local communities around Manitoba. So I just remember them saying, hey, people are confused thinking that we're into hemp or we're selling drugs or something like that. You got to stop using the trademark. This is like 3-4 years into the business already, and we actually had a little business, and we're like, well, we can't stop using the trademark. We're already in health food stores, we're across Canada in rural stores and stuff. And so we settled with them. I think it was like $18,000. We paid them $18,000 so they could rebrand themselves as fully as Winnipeg Harvest. And so that $18,000 was like to redo their trucks, their brochures, and all this stuff. And I remember it was $18,000, like $500 and something a month over 3.5 years is what I made a deal with them. You know, like they said, what you pay, you can't pay any more than that. You know. Because they were stopping our Manitoba, they were stopping a trademark application. And so the trademark went through with the trademark, and that was definitely a learning point for me. Funny enough, now they use Manitoba Harvest. They don't use Winnipeg Harvest anymore. So they fully went back and started using.
Can they use that now?
Yeah, I think it's different wares, right? They just stopped our trademark, but they're a non-profit, and we're specific to the business had specific trademark for hemp seed and hemp seed derivative kind of products.
All right, reverse lunge.
You know what happened last time? We were doing a different exercise, but like felt it. Maybe my traps aren't good enough or something.
You saw my face when I was going with that.
Yeah.
As you're talking.
Yeah, I felt it after. I was just like resting on one of my vertebrae or something.
We'll get to the show.
So when you hit your first million in the first 5 years of the business, I know in a lot of first time business startups and stuff, the execution is always the hardest part. How do you execute right out of the bat to be able to go to those kind of numbers? Was that just a different learning from you, or how did you guys get that?
Yeah, I dropped out of high school, so I didn't have any business. Didn't have any business courses or business. I had some experience working, but I really didn't know how business was built, right? Yeah. And so the learning was, execution, but also controlled growth, like sales, marketing, ops, and finance all have to grow at the same time. And we were making that really challenging because no one had done hemp before. So we had to figure out, help farmers, how do you grow hemp? How are we doing these?
That's good. Well, that's good.
How you grow hemp, and then how you actually manufacture a food product, and then had to learn how you bring that to market. Like I didn't know about distribution to retail and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, it was a heavy learning experience. I think, and it also wasn't only just building a new business; it was building a new industry because most people didn't know about hemp foods, right?
Yeah. And at that time, it was probably a lot of because then cannabis was and hemp, that wasn't it wasn't legal, right? So
no, yeah, it was just beginning. Let's take this off.
Feeling it.
Feeling it now, yeah, feeling it.
Okay, so at least we're gonna do at least 3 sets here, and at least 8 to 10.
Okay.
Okay. So this
Reverse
is like,
lunges, right?
huh?
Reverse lunges?
Yeah, reverse lunge. And don't go too like you're going a little too far back. Make sure you can be down.
Okay.
Otherwise you're gonna hurt something.
Hemp and cannabis were not only not known, they're in like they're in the negative time, right? Like everyone the first trade show we did, we spend money and go and get a booth and stuff, and 90% of the people just walk by and like laugh. Oh, I don't do that. You know?
Really?
There's such a stigma of like hemp was marijuana. This is back from the 50s and 60s, like all the propaganda confusion. Even though hemp and marijuana are both in the cannabis family, hemp doesn't have any psychoactive drug component to it, but people didn't know that. Like 98, 99, 2000, like they were like, no, I don't do that stuff, you know?
When our community is gonna hear hemp, they're gonna think cannabis, right?
Yeah.
So, because they're not educated on the part that it's not, that it doesn't have any drug component to it, right?
Yeah, it's basically they're brother and sister kind of species within the cannabis. So like cannabis, marijuana, or hemp is really for the fiber of the plant, the seed used for food or for fuel, and non-psychoactive. But it took a long time for people to like really understand that. Yeah, so we did a lot of education. Like I'd say normal business marketing is like, hey, look at me, and there's different like creating awareness for your brand. In our business, it was a lot about true education, like what's hemp and what is it not? Like it's not marijuana. Why do you want to buy it? How to easily incorporate it into your diet? Like it was really simple, because I learned, I didn't learn until later, but in food, generally there's like 250 commonly eaten foods. And if you're a new product outside of that 250, it's almost impossible to get people to change their,
Habits. Yeah. All right, buddy.
Okay.
At least they decide, just watch that back leg, don't go too long. Keep it a little bit short. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then knee down. Yeah, really bend that back knee down. Try to get it to touch it as best you can. There you go. Yeah. Oh, buddy. Smart, you gotta get your knee down too, man. You're weak.
Bro, I did legs yesterday.
I don't care. I could be sore as hell. You could be sore as hell. You still gotta
I couldn't get out of bed this morning. I was like,
holy.
I just said it yesterday too.
Oh, that's why you want to work shoulders. Okay.
So,
Come on.
I was doing pistol squats yesterday, and
The back leg bent. Come on. There we go. That's a good rep.
oh yeah.
That's it right there. Yeah, there you go. That's proper lunges. Nice job.
Okay.
That's good. So this is like early 2000s then, right?
We're doing like 17, 18 minutes in the sauna this morning just for that.
So I'm dying
Yeah,
today.
you see. Yeah. At like about 15 minutes. See me at like 12 minutes. Is it 15 minutes yet? 13 minutes. Is it 15 minutes yet? Is it 15 minutes yet? And then almost every day at 14 minutes and 45 seconds, I gotta go. I'm out. Oh, there was 11 seconds. There's 11 seconds left.
how hot is this sauna?
It's hot.
It's hot?
Yeah, it's 200 plus. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you.
It's like, when you open the oven. When you open the oven door.
Yeah.
Feels like that a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I sit in sauna every day, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they had normal sauna. They
Shakes.
set at 160 or 170. Yeah.
Yeah, we're out there. Infernal level, something I call it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The average person's not gonna last 20 minutes in there. Like 20 minutes is like a heavy. Well, heat thermal therapy is the same as weights, right? You could do like lower for longer time, or you do heavy heat for shorter amounts of time, and does like kind of different gains to it.
So early 2000s, how did you guys market this? Because there's no social
Mostly,
media.
no, there was no social media. Consumer shows mostly. Some demos in stores, which are
Trade shows kind of like.
yeah, but for consumer-based ones, like where people are like our first show here was the Winnipeg Wellness Expo, which still it goes on. This is like 25, 27 years later or whatever. So people go there for the weekend to learn about new foods and anything to do with health, right? Like water filters for your house and all these kind of health modalities. So I just remember the first show we went to. It was in St. Norbert here, actually. It used to be at the community center, and all we had was hemp oil. Was our first product at that time. We brought 100 bottles of hemp oil there to the show, and I just started telling people, "Oh yeah, I used to weigh 300 pounds. I lost a bunch of weight. I was on a no-fat diet. I learned like you need essential fatty acids, and we made these brochures. Yeah, that's great. I need more. There you go.
No, go ahead.
And two first. We made these brochures just explaining to people like different types of fat and why omega-3 and omega-6, like the essential fatty acids, are important. And like we sold the 100 bottles on the first day, and so I was phoning the other business partners like, hey, we need to print more brochures. And this is like black and white. Yeah. We have a black and white office printer. Yeah. Printing these brochures. People were just hungry for information, and so we sold like 300 bottles that weekend. And I realized then, I'm like, okay, we got something. And then we had met the owner of Vita Health Stores. Was there? He had John Holtman. He was at the booth right next to ours. So he came over to me and goes, hey, all my customers are coming over saying that we need to have your product in our store. And I was like jackpot, like we had one health food store before that at the show, and then he had 7 stores in his chain, and then John became a mentor of mine too, and a shareholder. So like a lot of it was community building after that, and I tell entrepreneurs that all the time. You got to get out in the community. Like you want to build something. Yeah, nowadays you have social media and stuff. You could do it different ways, but like nothing beats in person. Show up, make friends, educate people about like what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, and it's a game changer,
Well, I always like the way you guys met. It's the craziest story. That's I'm like, because he was telling me how you guys met, and I'm like, because he was like, man, I saw this guy on LinkedIn, and I swear he's my neighbor. Yeah. And then he messages me. How did that come about?
Yeah, I love LinkedIn. Yeah. Obviously, my prime platform for social. Such a great, business community, but also like people just go in there to learn and grow. And so, getting the DM, hey, I think we're neighbors. And I was like, that's cool. It kind of sparked off. It's nice to have mutual interest too.
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest way I think entrepreneurs can grow themselves is just being able to communicate with other people, being able to just open up that conversation.
Yeah, you have to, right? You have to put yourself out there. Like I'm naturally an introvert, which probably most people wouldn't realize now because there's been so many years of training, right? Mm-hmm. Like in business, you have the front of the house person, sales and marketing, and you have the back of the house, like operations and finance. Yeah. I'm naturally more of an operations and finance person. Like my mom was an accountant. I work construction, so I'm like, I know how to get a job done. Mm-hmm. But like talking about, hey, you want to go on a stage and tell everyone your story? I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll hide in the corner here. I don't need to do that, So that's like majorly trained behavior. So I tell entrepreneurs, you have to do that. You got to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. If not, no one's going to know what you do.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't get that growth or the opportunity to meet people, just to learn from them, right? So LinkedIn, I wasn't on LinkedIn, and as soon as he told me that, man, LinkedIn is the place to be, and I was like, okay, I gotta create an account. I'm on the process of just setting up my account and stuff, and making it so that.
Yeah, well, I just reframed it. I wasn't into social media like before 4 years ago, right? In business, when social media came on, we had social media accounts for Manitoba Harvest, and I had like a peeper account so I could know what's going on, like the ads and the different content we were trying to share, but I personally was never into it. Mm-hmm. And 4 years ago, probably because of the pandemic, kind of shut things down. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go onto LinkedIn. I've realized now, I just reframed it in my head thinking LinkedIn is like a 24/7 trade show.
Yeah.
It's always there. You could do it You could do it at night, in the morning, from the comfort of your home or whatever. But now there's 1 billion people on LinkedIn, all really business focused too. So your next customer, your investor, your peer, other entrepreneurs, if you're in supply chain, all the supply chain professionals, you can find your whole community there. And as well, from a social standpoint, there's potential still for organic reach, just because of how, where Instagram, Facebook, you're not getting organic reach, or it's a lot harder to get organic reach for your materials, and LinkedIn's still there's potential there.
Right.
Yeah.
Next one.
So you just kept growing it, and then you just...
Yeah, and I didn't know, when we started the business, I thought $1 million was success, right? Because I wanted to be a millionaire, so I thought, we need $1 million business. It took us 5 years to get to $1 million business, and then I realized, one, this doesn't make me a millionaire. Still pretty broke and eating like ramen and being a broke entrepreneur. And two, we need to be like a $10 million business to be sustainable for what kind of business we're building. Every business has a different scale of what's sustainable, but we were, working with farmers to grow the seed. We made the products. We had machinery and assets to make the product, and then we were selling it to health food stores. So we needed like $10 million of scale to be profitable and sustainable. Right. And it took us another 5 years to get there. It took us 10 years altogether to get to 10 million in sales and get to profitability in the business, which I just put out a post yesterday on, because these things, some people say, I've been working on my business for 1.5 years already, and I'm not sure if it's going to work out. Well, most entrepreneurs fail because they stop, right? They just simply don't go long enough. That doesn't mean you take a bad idea and you go forever on it, but if you stop yourself, it's like going to the gym and working out. You go, you know what? I went to the gym for 6 weeks already. I didn't notice any difference, so I'm just going to stop. Nothing's going to happen. Well, you didn't do enough reps, And so in business, it's really like that. And so it took us 10 years to be profitable, and then after that, at year 10, we went from 10 million, and basically each year we grew like $10 million in sales. So we went 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to $100 million. At 20 years, we hit 100 million in revenue.
And what year was that kind of?
2018.
19.
That's when we sold the business.
That's when you sold it.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that process go? Because I'm just fathomed by the fact that you went from making 100 million in revenue.
Yeah.
How does that conversation start when you're like, okay, now I'm looking for an exit?
Yeah, every business is different on the exit, but we actually sold Manitoba Harvest twice. In 2015, when we were doing about 50 million in sales, we sold the majority to a private equity partner in the US. That was actually a full auction process. So we hired an investment banker. The investment banker helped us put together like a marketing book on what makes our business special, and the financials and the plans for growth and all of that. And then we started shopping that around. We went to 100 different companies that would be well suited to potentially acquire the business. That process took like a year from start of it, and then we finally ended up partnering with Compass Diversified Holdings. So I learned like the full investment banking process cycle. But the reality with when we sold the business in 2019, like the full business, it was more of like a timing play. And I saw all the stars aligned. In 2018, Canada legalized recreational cannabis. So recreational cannabis was legal across the board. All these recreational cannabis companies went public on the stock market, and they had literally billions and billions of dollars on their balance sheet because people wanted to invest in the future. They needed other opportunities to grow, like looking to acquire companies and stuff. So that happened, but also just a couple of weeks after that, the US legalized hemp, which had been a 20-year, we helped to lobby for 20 years in the US, but Trump signed the Farm Bill and legalized hemp. And then a week after that, the FDA in the US gave us GRAS status, which is generally regarded as safe for our hemp hearts and hemp protein, basically saying, hey, hemp foods are legit now. So you had all the Canadian companies with money, the US legalizing hemp, and then the FDA, the biggest food governor in the world, say hemp foods are legit now. And so I was like, hey, now's the time to sell the business. And so I had met Brendan Kennedy, from the CEO of Tilray, through YPO, through Young Presidents Organization, and I phoned him up and I was like, hey Brendan, like I think there's maybe something here between the businesses. And that deal, that $419 million transaction happened in like, the deal got put together in like 6 or 8 weeks, you know, where there was no investment bankers, there was no, right? And so every deal is different, but timing is a huge piece on like, what kind of value do you get for your business, and what kind of process, you know, how intense is the process?
Do you know that? Yeah, so Tilray, so as this was going on, my roommate in the army, he was trading Tilray, and he was mentioning that they were going to buy out everything, and like, because he was trading the stock there, and he made a lot of his money from there, and so he was and so he went on Hemp Hearts at that time, and my roommate, and he introduced me to Hemp Hearts for the first time in our barracks. And that's when I first tried hemp protein. Because he's like, oh, you're a vegetarian, try hemp, like try this and a sandwich. And what he would do is peanut butter sandwich, make peanut butter, and just put a scoop or 2 scoops of hemp hearts on it. And he's like, man, the amount of nutrition value on hemp is huge. So the protein value as well, especially for vegetarians. And so he introduced me to hemp when this was going on, when the sale was going on. So when I read this yesterday, I knew Tilray was one that there's the deal with, and I was like, man, the timing of that matches exactly when I first tried hemp. First of all, I love it as a vegetarian. It's a great protein source,
for sure,
right? And second, I was like, my roommate was the one that introduced it to me. And now we always have a bag with it, 2 bags, because you can get it from everywhere, right?
Yeah, now everywhere.
It's everywhere. We always have that as a protein source.
Yeah, me too. I eat 5 pounds of hemp hearts a month I have for 25 years, you know, and I don't get paid to say that anymore. You know? It's like it's a staple part of my diet. Every shake I make, I just put hemp hearts in water, blend it in the blender first. You make fresh hemp milk, and then add all your other stuff you want to make, or on top of salad. You know, I don't need a salad without hemp hearts on it, or I do things like that. Like we used to do, you know, like nut butter, hemp hearts, and banana on a toast. People just go nuts, you know. And it's very satiating, though. Like you eat it, and it gives you, it fills you up. So.
Yeah, a lot of energy from it too.
Yeah.
Because it was used for energy source, right? A lot of energy from it.
Okay, we're doing good because I was supersetting it with leading hamstring, so don't worry about this set, the next set.
Okay. Yeah.
You're just like looking. I'm not gonna walk today.
Do it. Get it done. We also got a book, Mike.
Yeah. Finally put my book together last year.
Go forward, lower.
Best-selling author status.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, if you sell a book, you want people to buy it, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, for a long time, I wanted to explain. People follow me on social media or my podcast or like short form stuff, and then get inspiration and really actionable advice to grow.
Right.
But I want to put that in the long form of the story and show you it doesn't matter if you don't need to go to an Ivy League school or school at all. You can grow up like, you know, with a single family household, or grow up poor, or whatever your path is, and that can still lead to success by some fundamentals, right? Like being your best self and doing your best work, like really focused on doing high quality, great work, building community, giving back to like build stronger community. These are things that, you know, don't get talked about in business school, but they're fundamental for like growing strong business.
Yeah. Want to add some weight to that there, big boy?
No, why?
You good?
Why?
I
don't need to hurt myself, you know.
don't need to push yourself.
I almost got a decade. I almost got a decade on you kids.
So after the sale, you went to Mike Fata 2.0.
Yeah.
And so you started to rebrand yourself. And what was that chapter in your life like? What is that? Like that's what you're on now.
Yeah, I mean, it started with a grieving process because I still wanted to be in business, you know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't show up at the business. And
How about you push those?
Yeah, because like business, you grew that business like your baby. So 20 years of it.
Yeah, there's a grieving process that a lot of entrepreneurs don't think about when they actually, if they get a chance to sell their business or do sell their business. So all I want to do was be a leader to the team and grow the business more. And so it took a while to like really think about what I wanted to do next, you know, and just focus on some of the fundamentals of like, okay, I'm gonna be my best self, like work out and not be depressed, which a lot of people can do, right? Or you get into getting yourself like way off path, and then from there, like this whole thought leadership, like, okay, I was a leader for 20 years. Now I want to be able to like share that more broadly with the world. Is where social media kind of came in, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I got to put myself out there and not be afraid to, because you know, you get imposter syndrome and everything new that you do. So even though I created a tremendous amount of success, everything I went into new, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do it. No, don't put myself out there, stay at home or whatever. And so like that learning of, no, you got to do it. And as soon as I started to share my story, like, hey, I learned this in business and here's how you should maybe change your mindset. There's a, you know, a lot of people engaged like right off the bat. And so I thought, okay, now where is this going to go? Well, it went to just talking to other entrepreneurs and saying like, hey, can I be helpful for you if I have a 20-minute chat? What are you trying to do? What obstacles do you have in your business? And after talking to like 1,000 entrepreneurs, I picked a handful of them to invest in. People started asking me to coach them, so I added coaching. I got to a place where I found I could write my book, so I wrote the book. Then I started, when I wrote the book, people asked me to start public speaking, which I've done a lot of, but you know, paid public speaking. And so just compounding now where I feel like 5 years into Mike Fata 2.0, the world gets to see like what the future is for me, you know, like what I'm doing now, I feel like I could do for the next 40, 50 years. It doesn't feel like work. It's back to like many years in Manitoba Harvest. It did not feel like work for me. I was doing 100 hours a week, but I was doing things that I wanted to do, like enjoy. I'm building teams, I'm learning something new. And so I feel like I'm back in that spot now too.
Yeah, whatever you were doing, it was the worst. Can you show me anything? Don't record this. Okay. If Chris sees this, he's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh." Yeah, it's not a deadlift. First of all, thumbs over the bar, like a little bend. Your legs are pretty much staying straight. Just through your hands. I think you have a very weak posterior chain, buddy. Very weak. Very weak. Like, why is it so weak? Besides the fact that you're brown. Very genetically.
I don't know if it's genetic or this is my recent.
No, it's not genetic. I'm just bugging you.
I don't know. It's the back, like when I just screwed up my back.
Yeah, you got. I'm not.
You look like you're protecting yourself. So maybe something messed up. That's why I'm not going to. I don't want to be injured. I know the fine line of like work myself up. Somebody's like, yeah, do 30 reps of that. I'm like, I'm gonna stop at 18 or 19, I think, on this one.
We'll get you there, Mike.
Yeah.
No, because like I just got out of bed. Like I just got out of bed like 3 weeks ago. I was in there bed for 2 weeks.
You like?
They joined like they both like they inflated or whatever. I went to Cairo. Like Cairo messed it up more.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as they popping or whatever.
Yeah, so he messed it up more. So I was laying in bed. So I was off the gym and everything. But now that I'm getting back into it, I just did legs yesterday. So not excuses.
No, you gotta take it easy, you know.
I know. So Mike, what was that? What was like that moment where you got here like that? Like the check.
The check? Well, it's happened to me a couple times, right? But the first time.
Like, what was that?
Like
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you did it 3 other times after that.
Well, I've had 3 exits. I've had 3 exits so far. 2 at Manitoba Harvest, and then 1 in my first portfolio company that I invested in and I chaired the board and stuff. But like the first one was the biggest one, right? Because I went from having at that time Manitoba Harvest was doing, 45, 50 million in sales when we sold the majority to private equity. So I had a really good job. And I knew that my equity in the business, my piggy bank was actually real and it was full. but you know, we went through this 12-month process of full auction to sell the business, like, and you never know. They say the deal's not done until the wire transfer happens. It's true, right? You're like, at any minute, like the deal could go sour, and but then, I remember it was July in 2015, and after the deal got closed, and back then it was. Wasn't even wire transfer, it was checks. It was actual check, you know? Now we do all that in wire transfer, it just goes into your account, but it was a check, and so I had to go downtown to my lawyer's office. Oh, the day before I was there signing all the documents, and again, nowadays we do that on all DocuSign or whatever, right? Like, you don't even do that, but it was the traditional, like, around the lawyer's boardroom table with like 4 copies of every document, and there's like 75 documents, so there's like 300 things to sign or whatever. And then the next day I went down and picked up the check, and I had to go from there to the bank, to Royal Bank, to deposit it, and it was a game changer. You know, it was enough. That was enough money for me that I knew that I was set for the rest of my life. You know, and I mean, hey, we're from Manitoba here, so it doesn't take that much to get set, but it was enough for me. You know, when the second when we sold the business in 2019, I'd say that gave me enough dollars to then like go out and be an investor and invest in other people, right? It wasn't just about like, hey, my funds or whatever, but
what's the first thing you bought? Did you go splurge somewhere first?
No, in 2015?
Or either of them?
Either, I mean,
15, whatever.
You know,
did you go eat somewhere early? Like, what did you do? What did you want to do with this?
That's the whole thing. Is that, you know, I don't have like growing up poor. I have the fun. It's only the fundamentals for me, right? So like, I wear t-shirts and board shorts for most of my life, and a ball cap or something, you know. Like I eat, but so like, yeah, did my closet get a little bit better? Like I had all the things I want in my closet. Yes, you know. My food, and I've never really like sacrificed food. I invest in food, but like, you know, the food got a lot better. I guess if there was one thing that I bought it was going from my Jeep. I drove a Jeep for 15 years, which I loved. I had 3 different Jeeps. I loved Jeep Rubicon. But then for my 40th birthday, which was like 2 years after we sold the business the first time, I bought my first Range Rover, and that's a decent investment, you know, different step up from the Jeep for how much money you're putting into it, you know, and even to be able to buy my house here and pay cash for that kind of stuff, like it changed my life, right? But fundamentally, like, you know, my home, my food, my clothes is the things that I invest in, and besides that is like experiences. So yeah, we did go and like went to, my family's from Italy, so we went and spent time in Italy, and you know, buying a business class ticket, the little pod, and not feeling bad about it, that kind of thing, you know.
Oh baby.
Yeah. Here's what we're working for.
I always wanted to ask you that question about what you. Yeah.
Well, I had, you know what, I after we sold Soul Cuisine, so the third 9-figure exit, I did have Nick Saltarelli from Midday Squares tell me, David, you just got to go out and blow $100,000 on something. Just go spend $100,000 just because, you know, just because you can. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting. I never, you know, and not really the way my brain works.
See, if I was in Mike's life back then, you know, he would have, instead of going and splurging on the Range Rover, I would have taken care of him, taken him to get a G-Wagon.
A G-Wagon, a red one? A red one?
Red one?
Yeah. So, you know, and
Mike's like, oh, this is called.
Hey, you know, the biggest pieces, like, the biggest things that made an impact for me was like, you know, helping my mom pay off her condo,
right.
You know, buying her a new car, helping her with that. Like, those are the things that if you say,
sure.
Hey, like, really made an impact. You see people do that all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can help retire your parents.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Midday Squares.
Yeah.
Where did you get into that? Because you're an investor in that? Or?
Yeah, investor, and global growth advisor to the founders. Yeah, I met Jake and Les and Nick just over 4 years ago, and not right this second, but I love them. And yeah, they're a wild and crazy bunch, and the product is just phenomenal. You know, they're from Montreal and own the manufacturing facility, and just put out their story like no other business is doing on social media, like sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so when I met them at a trade show, our health food trade show, and tried the product, I was like, this product's phenomenal. I'll never eat chocolate again. This is the only kind of chocolate I eat because low sugar, higher in protein, higher in fiber, totally delicious. But when I ate it, I'm sensitive to my diet. When I ate it, I didn't feel like now I'm gonna blood sugar spike and crash or whatever. It felt good. And then really hit it off with them. So then I invested a number of years ago, and then joined the team to help the founders think through, because they're really intent on building a $100 million plus business. Now that business is about 30 million, which is only 6 years old. They've just done a fabulous job. But I've done that path from 10 million to 100 million, and so helping them think through the different stages of growth, and that's been my, any of the portfolio company. I'm not an angel investor, so I'm not investing in startup businesses. I like to invest in a business that's already doing 5 or 10 million in revenue, and then help them go to 50 or 100 million through investment, but also like coaching and advising the founders of how do you expand distribution into the US, or how do expanding your manufacturing facility, or hiring a world-class team and getting the team culture and structure put into place. Because there's not that many people that are like me that have grown a business sizable in our industry that are interested in helping others do it again and do it again. So.
All right, and last time for you, Mike, and then we're gonna do assault bike, and then we're done.
Okay, let me put the
One of
weight
the
up.
biggest things that, like, from Midday Square, that's where I know them a little bit from, is because their social media and their marketing is crazy. It's been from the start. Like, they did the whole how they built. They're pretty much giving you the inside out of how they're doing everything, and like that whole vlog style. And their marketing just killed it. And I think that's where I kind of just first saw them. Yeah. But they're really good. And
Yeah, the product's really good, and the story's really good, right? That people follow along, and people that I think maybe you were interested in is like maybe people I meet that say, oh, I love that company. One day I got to try the product. Like they haven't even tried the product. They've seen the social, they've seen the story, right? And it's like I can follow along the story like a reality TV show, and then you try the product one day. The product's really good.
yeah. And the macros and stuff on it is pretty good too, right?
Yeah. Low sugar, higher in protein compared to like it's been now 3-4 years. I don't eat any other chocolate because other chocolate you're like high in sugar. Yeah. It's just a treat, right? This is like a decadent snack more because it doesn't like throw you off.
How did you get into the whole sauna thing? Like, we're gonna head over to
Sauna, yeah. I mean, I've been doing sauna for 30 years. It's been part of my, after I lost the weight. What do you say? Don't use this?
It's not working. I'm not gonna do a timer. I'm gonna time you 30 seconds.
I haven't run this assault bike for a long time. Sauna, yeah. I mean, sauna's been. Where did I first? I think when I first experienced a sauna. what it was is after I lost the weight, I had a tummy tuck done, and because I had a little extra skin just right in the stomach, and wasn't really a good patient for surgery, so I it wasn't healing good. Didn't take antibiotics. I was being dumb, and then so it extended the healing journey. Ooh, out of breath. And so I had read about infrared sauna for like detox. I think it was in Minneapolis. They had a place you can just go and like rent the sauna for half an hour. I remember going in there for the first time and like just seeing stars, you know, like getting so hot and sweating out all this like probably medications and stuff, you know. And I just fell in love with it.
I saw you posted that shit.
Yeah. The infrared one I have, I had it for 21 years. We're at 3 different houses. We just put it together, plug it in, and so it's moved around 3 different houses. What was that, 10 seconds or what? What is he? He's timing himself for 10. He's timing me for 30. I'm doing all the talking here, you know?
Yeah.
In one of your videos, you talked about you really believe in therapy and talking because after you lost your baby basically, and then you went to therapy. How's that for you? Are you still in?
Yeah, I do therapy every month.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a therapist for 17, 18 years. And it's good, you know. Like I think therapy has a bad rap. It has a bad name. If as soon as you start talking about people about going to see a performance coach, you know, instead of a therapist, they go, "Oh, performance coach, yeah." That's all it is, right? Like we come to the gym and you get people, trainers to work you out. You go and have a safe space to say things that are happening like in your life or have happened to you. The whole process of verbalizing that in a safe space is a game changer. Like it just disarms it. So
in our community, it's not very big. It's the stigma's already there on therapy.
Yeah.
But then in our community, it's even like worse.
It's a little more
people
taboo.
will not accept help
Yeah.
when they know they need help. Again, we've talked about it on our show many times about addiction and everything, like mental health, and it's not easy or it's not hard to just say I need help in any way. And if it's not just help, it's just to help improve yourself and to make yourself
for sure.
better, right?
Well, I know it's ridiculous. This is what I say for mental health stuff like that. It's about as ridiculous as saying, "Well, I'm physically weak, so I don't want to go to the gym because if I go to the gym, everyone will know that I'm weak. That I want to get stronger." Right? You're like, yeah, you have to go to the gym and say, like my experience, you have to go to the gym and say, "I can barely lift the bar." That's where I'm at, okay? And then 6 months later, I'm lifting more weight. And a year later, I'm lifting more weight. And a couple of years after that, people go, "Oh, you're physically fit." Oh yeah, well, I've been doing the reps in the gym. Mental health stuff is the same thing, having a trusted space where you can go. I remember one of the first therapy sessions I had, I saw my therapist. She says, like, "What's your biggest fear?" I said, "Well, my biggest fear is regressing to the person that I was, being like overweight and out of shape and not having control over my emotions and my thoughts and stuff." And she said, "How does that sound for you to hear yourself saying that. And I said, it sounds ridiculous to say it, you know? But just coming out of my mouth and verbalizing it stopped the process of me just regurgitating the thought over and over and over in my mind, you know? Yeah. Then the next time I was thinking about it, I go, that's ridiculous, you know? And so like that, and people don't realize how powerful that is when you can like take your thoughts, stop them from being repetitive thoughts, because addictions are all just repetitive thoughts, right? That's the anchor of it. I already had that, I experienced it. Like having food addictions is harder than any other addiction because you can't stop, you know? If you have alcohol issues or drug issues, whatever, you can stop. You go cold turkey. Food, you can't. You have to like train yourself to like not overeat, not emotionally eat, control your thoughts and your process around it. And so if you do that, you can do anything in life. You know?
Well said. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, man. Yeah, solid. Sauna time.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
How you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah, it's you know, it's one thing when you're talking. I feel feeling like out of breath a little bit, but it's good.
You talked about your book, but right now, and I noticed on your website, because your website, and now yourself as a brand.
Yeah.
But you now offer coaching.
Yeah.
And are you still doing that?
Yeah, you know, the coaching came naturally. That I just having these mentorship chats with founders. Started really entrepreneurs in the food and beverage business that they would say, hey, can you mentor me? And I was like, I don't have time to more one-on-one mentorship. And I said, well, I'll pay you. Why don't you coach me? And I like doing that work. It's just, you know, so I said, okay, I'm going to set apart a couple hours a week. I do it on Fridays for a couple hours and just put it on my website, put it on my social, put it automated. You can just go on there, book an appointment. It's usually a couple of weeks out or whatever. Book a slot, and in that time, we're growth planning, right? We can tackle any issue that the entrepreneur is having, but generally, I help them work through their sales, marketing, ops, and finance plan, and then maybe raising capital, like that capitalization portion of the business, in an hour, and then give them a little bit of a layout of a plan for them to go and work off of. So I started that like a year and a half ago. I love it because I just love building business, and I know it's really helpful for others to kind of have a third-party view of someone that's done it before. My biggest piece of feedback that I hear is people say you help make it easier to see my own vision clearer, which is pretty huge, right? It's not like, hey, what's my vision? It's like helping them see what their next steps of growth are. So I continue to do that. Now it's interesting. I find it interesting because outside of food and beverage entrepreneurs that show up, you know, like in kind of all different businesses in Canada and the US mostly, but like people that just show up saying like, hey, which makes me realize I was for 20 years, I was a hemp guy. Mm-hmm. People would say, oh, Mike is a hemp guy. Yeah, he's leading the hemp charge and hemp business and stuff. And now I'm getting, because of the work I've done myself, but it's being reframed as the growth guy, you know, personal and professional growth. And if people want to grow in their business and they know that I can help them out, like inspiration, but actionable advice, like here's the next steps of your journey, whether you're just starting out or you have $1 million business and trying to go to $2 million, or you have a $20 million business and you're trying to grow it to $30 or $40 million. I've walked that path before, so I can do that one-on-one with people. And so, yeah, I like being a coach. But I do the same thing to my portfolio companies. They just get like a lot more of my time over the year, you know. Yeah.
Solid. Let's go work out. Sauna, good.
Sauna, cold plunge is my favorite part.
All right, let's go.
All right, wish me luck.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Have fun. Oh yeah. I gotta put the phone.
I'm not going in there how that fucking timer is.
I'll send you 15 and a half
I'm
minutes.
mental.
Hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
Swar, tell me when the thing's at 13.
15?
Oh shit, that's fine.
You already know when it's at 13.
I can feel it here. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's hot. It's hot. This is a good one. This isn't like the sauna at Shapes, you know.
I'm just gonna go in with full clothes. Why not? I don't think I can last 15 minutes though.
No.
But
For the show, let's do it.
oh,
What's the name of the podcast?
Sim and Sing Show.
so we started a year ago, almost a year now. We're coming up to a year, but we basically just first it's a
Definitely.
learning curve because he does everything. He does
Yeah.
all the editing.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be out probably tonight.
Yeah.
Like all day long kind of thing. So started just growing randomly, right? And then
But the last 2 weeks we've been doing it every day.
Yeah.
And the subscribers have gone up like crazy. So it's like all about consistency, just getting it out there. I think yours is gonna be our like a really big one.
Little bling action. I'm working on my culture sponsorship here. World class. Always done. Oh. 7 degrees, never felt so good.
So why do you cold plunge from here? Okay, so if you can talk, if you can.
I could talk, yeah.
Why the sauna and then why the cold plunge?
Thermotherapy for the body is just like working out, and you can use it on a spa day, or like we're doing now, use it after the workout. When you go in the sauna and you heat up, all your blood flows out to your extremities, and when you reverse that with cold, all your blood goes into your organs, and so it increases blood flow in a huge way, which is why they've already proven that if you do 1 hour of sauna a week and 20 minutes of cold plunging, you reduce your all-cause mortality, like your chances of death or disease, by 50%. So, no brainer. It also is hard as hell to get into ice cold water, and it trains the mind into, if I could do this and sit here for 3 minutes, I could literally do anything.
Oh. What's the most you got here, Mike?
Well, it depends on the temperature, so it's like the same thing as if we're lifting heavy weights, we do less reps. If the water is really cold, just a minute or two will do it. If you, right now the water is like 7 degrees, so 3 minutes, 4 minutes. If the water is up at like 10 degrees Celsius, you could do 5 minutes plus easy. All of it trains the body. You want that chilled feeling right to the core, and that chill will last for like, up to an hour or 2 hours after you get out, and all the inflammation in the body just drops. Feels so good.
okay, so if you had to give 5 words of advice, let's just break it down to an 18-year-old that's about to execute his business, what's the first thing that what advice would you give?
Be your best self. Sleep well, eat well, lift heavy stuff, get your heart rate up, get hot, get cold, and practice breath work.
That's the keys to success right there.
Yeah. I feel great. Amazing.
Okay, somebody set the timer. Good? Fills all the water.
Now it's like I gotta fill the water so
Sorry.
it's in there.
I got a heavyweight in here, Mike. I like it, buddy.
Get down to the neck. Put those arms into 2 minutes. Breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe. Focus on nice diaphragm breaths. Full breaths. Lots of long body down. Long body down. You got this. What's your favorite part of the ice bath?
Oh my goodness. The last 5 seconds. Takes about coming down.
What are you going? 3 minutes?
2 minutes.
Halfway there. Focus on the breath. Stay nice, calm, smooth. How good do you feel after this? Yeah, this is the pro version. It's like a commercial version.
Yeah. This is definitely not a backyard type.
No.
Old school.
Almost there. Keep breathing. Should be easier when you're on camera.
Yeah.
You gotta stay composed. A little bit longer.
This is my fourth one.
Yeah.
This is number 4.
You're doing a lot better than the first time.
Oh my goodness. I did a minute the first time.
Yeah. Like.
I didn't know we were doing this, so I didn't have to change the clothes, but I would do it. But next time.
2?
There you go. Yeah. It's 2 minutes. Good.
I need to waste some more water.
I know. I gotta teach you to get in and just lower yourself. You go.
You just jump in.
Splash against the back.
The whole water.
Oh, feel good?
We're pretty much at the end of the show here. But any last few things? How do we get in touch with you? If people want to follow you, you want to give them a little bit of information?
Yeah. The best thing for me is mikefata.ca for my website, and I'm really active on LinkedIn, so or Instagram. Just send me a note, say that you saw the show, and happy to connect.
Okay, so that was our Underdogs series, first episode. A lot of fun. But no, it's good. That was good.
Super informative.
I think Mike definitely felt it a little bit, he had a good time. Make sure you check out his book. It's all on his website. All the bio and everything is going to be underneath.
What's the website?
www.mikefata.ca. Okay, and again, it'll be in the description in the bottom. Okay. Any last minute thoughts for you before we head out?
No. Hit that subscribe button and Insta. We're gonna do a draw.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. Do you want to explain the contest? Or?
Well, yeah. So Mike does a 1 hour session which costs like $1,000.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a draw for the subscribers.
Yeah. So because $1,000, 1,000 subscribers. So our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on Instagram to enter into the draw. We're going to give away a 1 hour session with Mike. Again, he offers it for $1,000 value. So that'll be good for you entrepreneurs. You can ask him any questions, and that's the best way to do it. So we're going to start this contest starting today once this video is up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at Sim and Sing Show. And that way you're entered into the draw.
That's it.
Good?
Yeah, good.
That was a fun episode. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to come on the show, make sure you email us, DM us, or contact us in any way. We'll set this up for you guys. Promote your business. Let's get going. Get those entrepreneurs going. Okay? Otherwise, keep watching. Subscribe. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Yeah.